This was originally reported by, I think, Kevin Ioli of Yahoo Sports. They were originally going to put it at UFC 279. Now it's going to be 280, which will be October 22nd in Abu Dhabi. Aljamain Sterling is going to defend his bantamweight title against TJ Dillashaw. The main event, of course, will be Charles Oliveira taking on Islam Makhachev. Now, BC, I saw some consternation about Sterling kind of always being in co-main events, and I understand that. I thought, especially after his fight against Jan, where he proved a lot of people wrong, that he deserved to be, taken, just respected a lot more, given a little bit more, not just verbally with saying nice things, but treated a little bit differently by the promotion and by the fan base and by the media as well. Here he is still in the co-main event role. However, let me give you a little bit of a nugget. I have it on pretty decent authority that, for example, I saw some folks battering Izzy, because that's what folks love to do in the MMA fan base, that UFC 276 didn't sell above 400K. My understanding is there isn't a pay-per-view this year that has sold more than 400K, which means no headliner has done that. And Sterling certainly is an incredibly decorated and very, very good champion, but hasn't proven to be a sales draw in that way. Certainly not over the 155 guys who would be bigger anyway, so they would get that slot. Plus it's for a title. So I kind of understand it. So your reaction to Sterling versus Dillashaw, October 22nd, co-main.
My reaction, first of all, is this is one damn fine doubleheader atop this card. I mean, Luke, these are two of the best fights I want to see right now in the entire sport. So to your point about maybe them not giving Aljo the boost that he deserves, and I think a lot of us in the media and critical fans came back around for however we dogged him of his handling of that DQ, the way he went back and straight up beat Jan in the rematch and is now your champion. Yeah, he deserves a chance to stretch out and be who he could be and find out how big his brand could be. So if there was going to be a matchup where it would make sense to give him that pay-per-view headlining role, fighting the former champion in Dillashaw, I would think would be that. But this being one more time a co-main event at the same time, Luke, it doesn't seem to me as like a backhanded slap. I mean, Makhachev is in Abu Dhabi for a reason in terms of trying to capitalize on that fan base, and that fight as the main event, it just feels a little bit more prestigious to me, even with former champion Dillashaw coming back in there. There's a feeling for me in that main event that we could, storyline wise, this could be the dawn of Khabib 2.0, Khabib's, protege taking over, or it could just be another amazing stamp on the all-action passport of Charles Oliveira. So I'm okay that they're loading this up for the fans. I mean, these are two main events, for the price of one here, and I'm so damn fired up for this fight, Sterling versus Dillashaw. I got questions, as would anybody, about TJ's age and injury. It's been a while since he beat Sanhagen in that disputed fight. But this is great. This is going to be great theater, Luke. This is great matchmaking. This is a great night at the fights. The fan of me, very giddy right now. Talk me down, Luke. Try to shit on my Tai Chi Palace, please.
No, seriously, if I had to ask you, give me a UFC card where you put the two best title fights imaginable together, I'm not saying this is the only answer, but this would be one of the top answers. The very best at 155, in this case, Charles Oliveira, the reborn version, against this guy who's been on an incredible run in Islam Makhachev at 155. Okay, that's one you could do. And then the guys in charge of bantamweight, the existing champion and the former champion, who, by the way, never had the title taken from him other than by administrative policy, not by actually what happened in the cage. Those are the two you're going to pair together. There's not many pairings you could do better than that. That is one of the more optimal ones that could even permutations that could even exist. And in the case of a guy like Aljamain Sterling, for folks who might be upset that he is constantly in co-main event roles, I understand it. I get the notion that he's entitled to respect, but I also get the idea that the UFC is not selling pay-per-views this year in the way that folks might have naturally assumed, or they were during the pandemic, the bigger stages of the pandemic anyway. And so you put this in the co-main event role against a guy like Dillashaw, who does have some popularity, who does bring some controversy, who I think if a guy like Sterling can beat him, it raises his profile even more. You put him on a card where there's this 155 just assassins above him. This is a great, great scenario. This is what you want. This is the Wagyu beef cooked medium rare right here, delivered to you. If you're a fight fan and these two fights hold, seriously, and I mean this genuinely, I don't even give a flying fuck what comes before it. These two fights alone are worth the price of admission. They're the very best in many cases that MMA even has to offer. The complaints here should, in my judgment, be fairly minimal.
Looks like you can even put local government propaganda films on the undercard. I'm okay with that. Give me these two. In fact, Luke, let's be fair here. I'd sort of thrown out the idea last show. Should there be majors? Are there major pay-per-views in the UFC? I think this kind of cements what is now kind of becoming a thing every fall going to Abu Dhabi. Obviously, during the pandemic, there were key parts where that was the only place, and they stayed there for a while. But you want to talk about majors right now. International Fight Week, first weekend of July. The December Vegas card, which used to be New Year's Eve. Now I like it a little bit better. Second weekend in December. Madison Square Garden in November. But Luke, put this one right there. Put this one right there. That's your fourth major, Abu Dhabi. This main and co-main mixed together. That's as major as it gets. And Luke, when we talk about great old guy wins, right, or old fighter wins, when we talk about 34-year-old Davison Figueiredo coming back to stop the guy who just stopped him in Moreno and winning the title back. When we talk about, Glover Teixeira winning, Michael Bisping winning, TJ Dillashaw comes back and wins the belt against this version of Aljamain Sterling in this fight. I know there are legitimate reasons to use the words PEDs, Luke, when you're talking about this guy over history. Yes, there's legitimate reasons. But that'd be some heroic shit for a guy who gets looked at as a villain, and I think he likes that, by the way, TJ. But, dude, that's some hero move right there, Luke, okay? That'd be a win, brother. That'd be a big-ass win.
I think either way, it's a huge win. For a guy like Sterling, this would be, you've beaten Sandhagen, Jan, and then Dillashaw. Jesus, that is an incredible run through, what it would do for your brand and everything else and credibility. Then on top of it, if you're Dillashaw, to have never lost the title, you had the PED stuff, you had to lose 2 years of your career, you come back at 35, you have a grueling fight against Sandhagen, and then you go and you beat Sterling in back-to-back fights. I mean, insane levels of redemption. And either way, dude, I know that Henry Cejudo is out there calling for the Volkanovski fight, which I have less than zero interest in. But I do have a shit ton of interest in the winner of this fight taking on Triple C. I think Cejudo versus Dillashaw at 135 or Cejudo versus Sterling, obviously at 135. Those are the fights I care a lot about, and I think he's competitive in both. Do you agree?
I 100% agree with that. I love that matchmaking. I think we've all agree on this. Cringe as shit. Yeah, he wants to do big things, Cejudo, like fight Conor or fight, Volkanovski, as you mentioned. But him against any of these elite bantamweights, Luke, right now, or even the old guy bantamweights, like, I want to see it. I want to see Henry Cejudo come back and fight 3 times in a year. I mean, he's great for this division. He's a great fighter who has done some all-time stuff, Luke. It is hard to exactly at this point because the batch has been small to try to frame history around it, but yet he's also a 2-division champion, whether you like it or not. And, dude, I could sit here and just read off matchups in multiple weights I want to see this guy in, but if the UFC is smart, which they seem to be, they're going to make him come back and earn it the hard way at bantamweight if he does want to, Luke. So, yeah, him against Dillashaw would be insane theater, Luke. Come on.